Hi, John here. Sunday today, 8th of December 2013. Just recapping on what's happening tomorrow with Doug Rickard Bell, the warrant. They'll be going down to the Central Police Station in Auckland, New Zealand, for those people watching internationally, to this first online Facebook Admiralty Court hearing. Just to give you a brief outline here, we've got extensive evidence, historic evidence for a full-blown case now, that we've notified the Police Commissioner, Peter Marshall, in New Zealand. It's 24 days now, this is the 25th day. We have not heard back from him to our affidavits, and the fact that we needed him to assist us to have his police constables here in Auckland and his area commander, Mike Clement, to arrest the Prime Minister of New Zealand, John Key, for his fraud crimes. There's a number of issues that have been prevalent for the last few years as far as their new federal state government is concerned, and the Supreme Court. We've got issues with the Supreme Court judge, Sean Lies, mixed up with the Queen in their private business, and using this federal state they set up with the Commonwealth of Australia, federal state in Melbourne, Canberra, sorry, with the federal state of USA, and Canada, and New Zealand and Australia joined up through consolidating our 1993 Te Ture Whenua Act, Land Act, Native Land Act, into the Australian new 2012 Commonwealth of Australia private company. Okay, so they have no interest with our sovereign people, that they've have gone now, and I'm not assuming, I'm saying, I'm making a statement here, a bold statement, that they've sold the bonds, the birth certificate bonds and the social security bonds of the citizens of Australia and New Zealand onto the US Stock Exchange through the Washington DC federal state government. Okay, so that's a bold statement I make in front of you people watching this case unfold. We've got blue collar crime here in New Zealand, the pinnacle of fraud through the Queen Crown system of Rothschild banks, the Queen's crown on her head, monarch, and the Vatican City Pope impersonating the Admiralty law of the sea, King of the Sea, King's Commerce, which we are here representing our British state commercial trading bank business partner, King William IV, Rear Admiral of the fleet, the Navy and the military force in London, England, that we've got a contract, a commercial contract running with him since 1835, when he passed through statute law in Westminster Parliament, that's his own property, house, the Declaration of Independence of this state here, Aotearoa, New Zealand, Aotea country. That put us in a direct partnership with the King and his commerce. That's a banking trading throughout the world, using our flag. The Confederation flag forms the basis of our Constitution, the 1852 Constitution Acts, that we're going under the British law, land laws of England, I'm talking about the Moai Crown Confederation here in New Zealand. So today I'm just putting together and finishing off the warrant, the Lien warrant, under that guise of our partnership on a contract basis. So every time someone is cause for our allegations against their person, their name, their surname, their photo, and their criminal acts are now recorded in front of the world on Facebook, and you'll see that Facebook now considers its material that's published worldwide on Facebook is admissible in the courts. This is what a statement they've just made last week on Thursday and Friday. We have it on our website beside our documents now. So 3,000 affidavits, sworn testimony to all our statements, our claims, who we are and what we are, under our own original, organic, historic, anthropological history of our native lands here in New Zealand. So that means we are absolute, without a doubt. We are the scientific, historic holders of these native lands, customary native lands, as natives, okay, as natives, not aboriginals, as natives of this country, in line with the natives of Canada, Australia, and America. Okay, so we're being indigenous now, and all our titles here, the land titles that go straight to Britain, British land laws of England, over the titles here in New Zealand, the jurisdiction that we use of King William the Fourth seal that you see on our documents, him on his horse and his ship in his dock, wharf, and his memorials on Plymouth, Devon port in England. Direct straight to Devon port here in Auckland, over the shore from where I am on the dock here. We're using this dock here on the waterfront of Auckland as our court for the hearings and against the sovereign government here in exile to Queen Elizabeth on one side and King William the Fourth and Moai Crown Hapu Confederation on the other side. So we are going under the King's Commerce of our titles, and so tomorrow you'll see on Facebook the first of the Lien, debtors, levy, arrest warrants going straight to the police station and issuing it to them to stand aside and not be involved, otherwise their constables or their authorities of the 12,000 police are on notice now from a letter I gave the Commissioner of Police, Peter Marshall, last Friday to effect that Lien can be issued to their persons oath of office. Okay, now if they don't have an oath of office, including the judges in the courts, the High Court and the Supreme Court and the District Courts, if they do not have a warrant or an oath of office, then they're in trouble as ordinary people, because Moai is using the Chancery courts of the High Court as common law. We have common law human rights issues as the landlord here in this country, native surnames of the Tahitian founders of the doctrines of discovery of this country, Aotearoa, Aotearoa, Pacific Ring of Fire area of Moai clan. Okay, so all of that seabed land area, the lands here and in Australia and in the Pacific Islands comes under the King's commerce of King William IV jurisdiction and our jurisdiction of Moai Crown Confederation. Okay, so the Confederation here, in this sense, spreads right over the whole world to counter the New World Order and their jurisdictions. So we're going straight across their jurisdictions with Moai statue standing in London and New York, Washington DC, France, Belgium, Brussels, Singapore, New Zealand here, and Chile, and East Island. So these are the real statue memorials of doctrines, of title, original, absolute, scientific, astrological, and anthropological titles to the whole world. Okay, so you'll see that on our documents on Facebook, and sealed with the King's seal and his flag, his British Crown flag, monarch, and our flag of Moai, Tahitian and African title. You'll see it on the flag. The Moai statue with the hat on his head is the crown, the real earth crown of God's grace, authority and jurisdiction. So those are that's that part of the anthropological, historic, organic title to the whole world. It's very deep on the island, East Island, Rapanui, Tipito Te Henu Island, navel of the earth, and Tipito here at Mokanui, New Zealand, as being the other part of that title, and standing in London and those other superior states. That's our title. That's our title, beside King William's trading title around the world with the British government. Our partner is the British government, and the courts are obligated in London, the Admiralty courts, High Court of Law in London, Judge Mackey, Judge David Lindsay Mackey is obligated with the military defence force Commander-in-Chief Nicholas Horton, and also the Rear Admiral of the fleet, Sir George Zembalis, is obligated to us to protect our business interests between Moai, Ngātue Wā Aotearoa Limited, Moai Crown, Moai Powerhouse Group in London, and Moai Powerhouse in New Zealand here in the Pacific Islands, business interests, our bank and our trading accord and conventions to the United Nations, where we're registered in 59 states, we're one of them, and also to Westminster directly as the King's partner in business. So the government in England is obligated to us in our law, our Moai tikanga law of God, grace, in conflict now with the Vatican fraud, corrupted gods. Title, they've stolen the obelisk of our African male counterparts. Our bloodlines, DNA, are the same as Tahiti, and the Queen has stolen our Moai statue. That's our memorials, both our memorials and our titles that we're using as instruments against them in levy of the fraud liens that we have over them now. The figure that we had is 1141 900 million trillion. That's a World Bank foreclosure amount that we've foreclosed on the OPPT. We're linking to the ITTS, International Tribunal for Church and State Crimes, with Kevin Annett and the Indian Cree people of Canada, that we're consolidating their efforts and their claims and sealed in the King's Admiralty Court of Law over the seas and joining all the countries together. Now, everyone in the world has got there through that Admiralty title from one country to the other through the British law. So we're challenging, or we've challenged the Vatican and their title to who is the creditor of the courts, the Admiralty courts, the High Courts, who's collecting the money for who. And so we're collecting the money for the King's Commerce. I'm speaking here for the King of England, King William IV, because he's the only king that has a seal and a British crown flag of monarchy, straight to our Moai monarchy crown flag seal, and that flag, and me, the private prosecutor of our native Admiralty court, in line with King William's Admiralty court. Okay, so that's what I wanted to tell you today, that tomorrow I'll be issuing the Lien warrant to the police, area commander, officer, Mike Clement, tomorrow, and necessary get it stamped by the police that confirm that they've got it. They haven't written back, so they're in default convictions now by leaving them as accessories to the fraud people. Two people we name as John Key, Prime Minister of New Zealand, and Doug Rickard Bell, property developer of Auckland, 61 Cook Street, Auckland, property that we're going to seize next week outright under these lien warrants of Levy through our own Admiralty Court here and the Admiralty High Court of London through Judge Mackey. And we're going ahead without waiting for them to make a decision, because we'll only go there if any accused, alleged criminal people here respond to our allegations against them and our affidavits. None of them have so far responded, and not the Defence Force hasn't responded. That's Rhys Jones, the Commander-in-Chief of the Defence Force, particularly the Army, and the Governor-General, Jerry Mataparai Andrews, hasn't responded, and he's military as well. He's silent. He's there representing the Queen. The Queen hasn't replied and responded to our affidavits, our letters, so that time has passed. We accept, I stand here for the King of England, King William IV. I stand here and proclaim our truth affidavits are the law here of this country, New Zealand, Pacific Islands, and the world for that matter, because the Pope and the Queen has not responded as well. So we're taking the whole lot of them on with Moai God. He's God's grace authority above the priests and the bishops, canon's law of Rome. We're going right across the top of Pope Benedict, Joe Ratzinger, who's gone, having him up for fraud and corruption, and as well as the Black Pope, Nicholas Pachon, Adolfo Nicholas Pachon. He's the leader with the Queen, Elizabeth Windsor. That's her name on the warrants, the arrest warrants. Their names on the arrest warrants issued from ITTS, Kevin and Ed. So they've got 25 countries supporting them, and our indigenous states, 247 of 253 indigenous states of the world join in with us, with the grandmothers having their meeting in Gisborne at the moment of those indigenous people of the world, and Sue Nakora, our Prime Minister of the Moai sovereign state government of this country. So she's got her Maori government, the Confederation. She's having a meeting, had a meeting with the grandmothers of the indigenous states meeting in Gisborne last week. So just confirming to those people there and the people of the world, the indigenous people of the world, I represent you too, with the King of England, our ally and our protectorate of the British military, and the government of England, and the lords that will come here. 4 lords come here on the 4 regions, 1 in each region, with our new federal government of Moai to adjudicate and administer the Moai Crown Confederation of the World States government here, beside the Maori government of Confederation. Okay, so just Kigi Taurua, the chief at Waitangi, and to you, and to Papa Hei, chief of the indigenous tribes. All is in place to get funding through our private investigator, Graham Elliott here, and our other Pommy friend who will be beside me in this business with the King and the King's Commerce Bank and Trading in England, King William IV. So just to let you know that we're going ahead with the lien warrants tomorrow to enforce it ourselves under our own jurisdiction of King William IV seal documents. These documents are sealed, and so we go across the jurisdiction of the Supreme Courts of New Zealand, and Sean Rice and John Key, Prime Minister, is found to be fraud, and he can't talk for himself. None of them can talk for themselves now, so we're taking them to task, and we can lock them up and arrest them at any stage now. Beware, you're going to be arrested, and everything, all of your properties that you own, your assets, will be seized under this Moai Crown Confederation warrant, lien, commercial lien, levy, arrest warrant, the property, a seizure warrant, with our sheriffs and me, prosecutor, and our debt collectors, Graham Elliott Investigations. He's an ex-detective sergeant of UK, so he very well knows how we've been through this together. He's got the documents, contract with me and the Moai Crown to operate here and in England under the British Crown of the King's Bench, not the Queen. The Queen is fraud with the Vatican, popes, and their churches. The Church of England, Roman Catholic Church, are now indicted and under the same commercial lien levy, seize all their properties and their assets. The figure is there. I've got the figure on the warrants in pound notes, sterling, and gold, bullion, and Moai water money currency notes in the pound notes, Moai pound notes. We'll be printing those off against their debts and the debts of all the people in New Zealand who are not Moai Crown members of the state confederation, federal state at that, to take over the federal states position of the Supreme Court here with the High Court of Admiralty in London. So we are calling the British military and the Secretary of State of the Defence in Britain, London, the government of England, UK, Philip Hammond, MP of the current government. He's the Secretary of State of Defence, to bring the military here to take over the government and seize it here of this country, and the Prime Minister, and lock him and all his politicians. They've got all their photos on Facebook now. Facebook, remember, Facebook is used as evidence in our court hearings. So we're having a court hearing outside of their courts. We don't step into their courts, or we can go into the Supreme Court and hire the building for our courts at any stage. But it's got the wrong Queen head there. That's offensive on our lands. We'll have it removed, everything removed of the churches here, the memorials and their organic history removed out of the way and replaced with the Moai original natives, organic, anthropological, historical titles and absolute titles, and also take over the Admiralty mortgage liens, all the mortgage of this country, and everybody who's got mortgages, they'll be seized off you, and the titles taken over under the British system, okay, and my native land acts direct to Britain. Okay. So the offenders are the Commonwealth of Australia, federal state, and Canberra, Tony Abbott, the Prime Minister, and all his agents. You're all indicted now, the whole of you, and it's 1 billion people altogether, with the 300 royal families, the Vatican Church, the Church of England, the monarchy, Queen's monarchy, all their monarchy. Now we have King, the HRH, Prince Regent Geoffrey Foley, future king, challenging the Queen's legitimacy of her crown. Now, at the present time, we're going to support him. We are supporting him on our documents, sealed with King William IV. Just remind you that the King William we have the claim to his estate as his trading partner, trading bank partner, and so we have a direct right to his fortunes, his assets, and all his administration, as they're calling him and or whoever a silent king in their business. That's our business. The King's business is our business. I'm talking here as the administrator of that business and all its assets and its banks, its money, its trading, and everything it's derived from since 1830 when he was first made king, and to 1837 when he died. So our Confederation and the Declaration of Independence flag is a contract with him at 1835. So it's in his time that all the money was derived from his 52 years in the Navy as Rear Admiral in part, to stamp his claim and his title that we are very much a part of, and the British government that been running off his King's title of Admiralty law in court, in the High Court. That is our law that we can practice here as extant forevermore in Westminster Parliament, that he fixed that law and our flag jurisdiction with him. So we do have the power to make law here and to run our self-government under the Section 71 of the 1852 Constitution Act of British Government. Okay, so that's our law. We're carrying on with that, and the land laws of England. We're going straight across the top of the laws here, of the foreign private company government, and all its private corporations are now indicted. Face the Admiralty Court now of Moai on Facebook. That's our court. It's got over 1 billion people watching and witnessing all our evidence and our historic organic material to support our claims. Extensive and cannot be broken or interfered with by any police, constable, or courts in this country and in the Pacific and in the whole world for that matter. So I'm here today to go and visit the High Court in Auckland and issue the warrant and get them to stamp it. If they don't stamp it or acknowledge it, then they're in breach of their oath of office and will be indicted at the same time. They're indicted anyway because of the law that they're practicing here is fraudulent and corrupted. So I'm going to test out the High Court and the District Court tomorrow with the warrant. I'm just writing it out now, fresh, dated from tomorrow, for these two first offenders, Doug Rickard Bell, property developer, and for the land on 61 Cook Street, he sold again to Simon Roundtree and James Brown. So the property be taken off them. I'll just make this public announcement that they'll have to get the money back off the lawyers, Hornibrook and McDonald. Mark Hornibrook and Andrew McDonald sold the property of Jamie Peters to Doug Rickard Bell. Doug Rickard Bell, you instigated the whole process, and you colluded with illegally with the Attorney General, Chris Finlayson. He's, see, the Crown agents are in it too, so he's in real trouble here, and indicted as well. It's all notified, and also the Land Register General, Robert Muir, and the Land Survey General, Robert Admiral, and Don Grant. He's the Liens, Land Information New Zealand agent. He was an ex-Australian Land Survey General for a long time, and so he's responsible for forging the survey title of the Crown's title on 61 Cook Street in order to put all the 11 investors 300 million, and also our interest with Manukau and Wanoa Moai title interests on that land. They rejected on the Land Register General, Land Register register. We registered the interest title. They declined or dismissed, discharged. See, so that's the offence. That caused offence to us, actually, the landlords of this country, the biggest offence of all. And that's all Crown agents that have done that. So now we've got the court. If the court refuses to stamp these documents as received on record, on the public record, it's already on public record on Facebook anyway, a million people, witnesses. Any one of those can be witness to any of these documents. So in the court case, they have to. If they don't, they're supporting and aiding and abetting. We accuse them of aiding and abetting the criminals, John Key, and all the other agents I just named, and also Doug Rickard Bell. So that's their colluding and our party to the fraudsters and the corruption here in this country that we're cleaning out. Okay, so that's as much as I want to say. So those three people tomorrow, I'll be issuing that warrant and sending it off to Philip Hammond, the Secretary of State. I will send everything to him in the government of England. And so he's answering every time with his electronic mail. That's admissible in the High Court of London too. The emails we get, we can send straight to the judge, straight past the clerk of the court at the front office, and also straight past the marshal at the front office. So we're going straight to the judge and drop everything in front of him. He's already got it. He's got a complaint in front of him now about what's happening here and in the world and the churches and the states. He's got the complaint. He's got a problem. Addressing it won't go away, and we're just adding to that all the extra cases that'll be heard one by one online. So it's quick. It's going to be quick. 2 hours. There's a minimum time in the High Courts of Admiralty in London, Chancery Courts, the Common Law Courts, the Contract Courts, and the Criminal Courts. So we've got lawyers. We've got 2 lawyers here. Lawyer, QC, Taek Choi. Taek Choi. He's a QC, Korean, South Korean lawyer for my Crown. He signed the documents and stamped them. That went to the QC in London, High Court of Admiralty, Judge David Lindsay Mackey. So one QC to the other QC. So I'm here for the King's Bench Commerce. I'm speaking for the King's Bench in the court here on Facebook. And so so those are acknowledged. And our other lawyer is, our other barrister, criminal barrister, is Charles Hirschfeld. He's taken a delegation to the United Nations with Prime Minister of the Maori government and Confederation Sunapura and Kingi Tauroa and Papahehe, the chiefs at Titi Marae. We've got all these documents on their sites. Everything's in order, and I'll be going with them as their legal advocate and native assessor, and also the private prosecutor, straight into the court, speak for the King. I'll be there, speak for the King of the Sea, King of Commerce, King's Commerce, and also the Admiral of the Fleet, King William IV, as his legal, trading, bank, business partner. Okay, so all that business that they've made in England through the Crown is our business, right? So that figure that I gave you, that's what we're putting up against 1 billion agents of the Crown, and we're bring that money and all that trade return to 6 billion people in the world who wants to join Moai Crown Confederation of the world, sovereign people. Okay, so we're going to switch everybody back to their own sovereignty in their own lands under the indigenous titles, native titles, under Moai Crown. Crown on his head, God's crown. God's truth is Moai jurisdiction. Okay, thank you very much. John Wanoa, Auckland, New Zealand, saying have a nice day. It's cloudy here today in Auckland, New Zealand, and so we'll spring into action for the first time in history on the record here, the Moai Admiralty Court in Auckland, setting off historically for the first time the first case against Douglas Bell and John Key, Prime Minister of New Zealand. Okay, tomorrow. Okay, bye for now. See you later.